Hello?
Chuck, did you get in?
Hey, good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, good, good. All right. Well, we got everybody that's here that is interested. Good morning, Emerson. Matthew? Guess he's not. Randy? There's a guest. There's Natalie. And Renee. Renee is going to be. She's going to put up the screen, and then we'll go from there. I think Renee has other responsibilities also. So. Um, let's wait another couple minutes and then we'll go. I think everybody has the handout that I sent out the other day. And we're going to use that as a guideline today to determine our format of the conference. We're going to have to decide the date also. There's a date. We do have a tentative time and place. I'm here at Salt Lake Community College with Orville and Phil. And they're both here. And I sent this agenda out. Well, it wasn't that agenda, but the flyer from a couple of years ago. And we'll basically use that as a springboard for our conversation this morning. And this will kind of give us an idea of the direction that we want to go. So let me see if I think this is probably going to be as many people as possible here. I know that you guys are busy. The people here at Salt Lake also are busy. And thank you for bringing that up, Renee. If you could blow that up to the full screen, and there, what we'll do is we'll talk about this whole process and some of the things that we have in store. Now, just to kind of give you a background of how this conference started. This started way back in, I believe, at least 15 years ago. And the venue has always been here at Salt Lake Community College. We've had a good relationship with Salt Lake Community College, and our focal point was to address some of the needs and some of the awareness for our students in the area. We started out very, very small with maybe 2 or 3 school districts, and now we do have about 6 that are involved, and along with the Urban Indian Center. And within the last couple of years, our population with student has really taken off in terms of numbers. The numbers are large. We have large numbers now, anywhere between 2 to 250 students. This is basically focusing on students who are in education. We have the venue that also has been set aside, and I think in the past years we've had 3 or 4 rooms upstairs and 3 or 4 rooms downstairs, and then we had the Oak Room. And basically, this is a setup where it's a typical conference setting. And today, what I would like to do is, this is the backdrop now. Now today, what I'd like to do is just kind of whether we want to use that format or not. Now we go back to the conference. The conference is that we have that triangle. Renee, could you bring up that screen again?
Oh, did it go away? Okay, it's still showing on mine.
Oh no, it's not. It's not here. It's not showing on ours.
Nope, that's not the right one.
Okay, should I give it a shot from this end?
Nope, I got it right here.
No, this is this afternoon.
Yeah, I know, I said I got the wrong one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, why are you doing
So
that
how's
to me?
life? That's
Yeah.
great. You graduated from the U. That's great, man. Yeah, that's,
Not shifting.
you know, I'm it's still USBE. I'll be there for another year or so. Then I'll move on. Well, I'll retire.
Nice.
You know, so I got a whole year yet. It's going to be December 2022.
I'm sorry, it's not working. Hold on.
Okay.
This
Well,
always
in the meantime, let me keep kind of giving you the backdrop of this. You know, we had a triangle here for our conference, you know, which was developed by the committee. And the committee are you people. And I know that the committee and some of the coordinators have changed over. You know, we've had that triangle, you know, we have achievement. Because what we wanted to focus in on was the student achievement. You know, when we talk about student achievement, we're talking about participation and being engaged. And the other piece is where we have leadership. Because I think that we want to provide an opportunity for these students when they do have the conference that they walk away with some skills. And the skills that they have is in the area of leadership. Because this leadership for the American Indians is very, very important, and sometimes that's not the upper left-hand corner. You have that leadership, and you know it's very, very important for us to look at that leadership because again, when these students leave high school, they're going into other areas, maybe higher ed, going into the military, vocational, technical programs. You know, they have other alternatives for their life. And we like to have them carry the skill to the next level. And the last piece, which is the foundation, is the culture. The cultural piece is very, very important because there's a tradition that goes along with that. You know, the practice, the beliefs and values, and a lot of these students, they gravitate toward that culture because that's their foundation as to who they are and where they're gonna land in terms of their lifestyle. So that was the emblem that we put together, and of course, you know, the upper part of that is the American Indian Student Leadership Conference. And at that time, we had this theme. This theme has been going on for about 5 years now. We could use the same theme again, you know, working together for a better future, because that really entails a lot. Now, as you know, the screen now, you know, I'm going to talk a little bit about the participants. Again, we have the Granite, Salt Lake, Murray, Tooele, Jordan, Canyon, Sevier, Uinta, River High School. So we do have a few area schools as well as we have that outreach to Sevier and Uinta River High School. Now, you know, I'd like to have your feedback in terms of the format. If we follow the same format, or if we do follow the same format, all we have to do is replace the names. And these names will, you know, it'll kind of filter into us as to who we like to have. But let's talk about the format first. On the left-hand column, we do have the minutes. You know, the hours, if you will, 8 to 8:30, we have something going on. We have, and we used to divide these students up into areas. We have a green, the yellow, and the red, blue, and the white, and the black. You know, we gave these students, as they signed in to register, we gave them little dots to put on their nameplates, and they wore that throughout, so they identify themselves in a group now with the colors. And the colors, you know, they'll go according to the group colors, and they'll stay together as groups. We also had the times that just above the breakout sessions, just below that, you have 9 to 9:40, 9:45 to 10:30, from 10:30 to 11:20. These were during the times of the breakout sessions. And we blocked them also in with grade levels, 9 and 10, 11 and 12, because I think the 11 and 12s were more into the higher ed focus, to get them to, our focus was that to look for alternatives for them. Then at the bottom left, you have 11:15 to 11:25. We did have that lunch break. And during that lunch break, we did have our keynote. And we had a number of door prizes also. I think that's always a good gesture. And some of the committee members, they went out and solicit that this conference is a conference for students. And I think in return, there were about 3 laptops that were given out at that time. Again, this is something that as a committee, you guys can kind of focus in on. And at 11:05, we had the closing remarks, and we had the buses and the bus pickup. So basically, that's what we had as a whole conference. Now, with a yes or a no, would you like to follow the same format? Don't all speak at one time now.
I think it's a good format.
This is Natalie, and I think it's a great format.
Okay.
If it worked before, I think it's a good idea just to try and fix something that's working.
Okay, yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, this is Clara, and I attended one of these conferences, and I thought it was really organized because of the groups. They knew exactly where to go.
Good, yeah.
This is Matthew, and I agree with whatever Clara says.
Yeah. All right, Matthew. It's
And
good
in
to
this
see you.
instance,
Good to
she's
hear you.
right, which makes it even better.
Yeah. How about you, Wendy? What'd you think?
Yeah, I think it's a great way to do it. I like that it's separated between the grades because, like you said, the 9th and 10th graders aren't really going to be interested in, the more of the college stuff, the financial aid and some of that stuff. So I think it's good to separate them.
Yeah. And Lorne, what do you think?
I've never been to this conference, but
Okay.
The way it sounds like the old format, it sounds like it's been working. So why not,
Keep it, okay?
Yeah.
Well, we have 2 representatives from Salt Lake Community College also. Maybe they could introduce themselves and, the people that we're working with the partnership. And then you guys could introduce yourself. I missed that whole piece there. So if you could do that, Orville, we'll start with you and then Phil.
Great. Yeah. My name is Orville Cayadito, and I'm here at SLIC. My title is a Student Success Coordinator in the Diversity and Multicultural Affairs Office. I work with Native American students here on campus and co-advise the student group here. So I think I've been here for about a year, and the position here at the college specifically for Native students is relatively new. So it's been a good year, getting thrown in mid-pandemic and all, but everything has been well. So I'm excited to meet y'all.
All right, good morning, everyone. Happy to be here with you. My name is Phil Pendergast. I work for Salt Lake Community College here in the Redwood Campus Student Center as a meeting and event specialist for the Department of Student Center Operations. So I just work with folks like Chuck here to, get their meetings scheduled and everything that goes along with that. So thanks a lot.
Let's start. I see Wendy. I'll just see what I see on the screen. We'll go from Wendy. The people I see on the screen, I'm going to start from the top. Wendy, go ahead and introduce, and Lorne, you be after that. then Matthew. Go ahead, Wendy.
I'm Wendy Peterson. I work with Granite School District with the Title VI program. So I've been working with this program since probably 2007. So yeah.
Okay.
Lauren Pennicus, with the Salt Lake City School District. I'm barely probably on my third week-ish. Still trying to get used to things on going to schools and helping the students out. I mainly work with the high school students, but yeah.
Okay, good.
Cool. I'm Matthew Emerson. I am the Title VI coordinator for Canyon School District. I also work with Title III and ESL and placement services. And this is my 6th year in the program, although Dr. Foster probably feels like it's my 10th year in the program. I think I've called him with enough questions. I think I've weighed on him, but yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Clara?
Sorry. Hi, I'm Clara Bedoni. I work at the Murray School District as a Title VI coordinator. This is my 4th year. Thanks.
Thank you. Stephanie from Tooele.
Couldn't make it, but I'm Natalie Brunsdell.
Okay, Natalie. Okay.
Yeah, Stephanie is the federal program director for Tooele County School District, and I'm Natalie Brunsdell, and I'm with Title VI. And I'm fairly new. I just started last year, so this is my 2nd year, and so I'm still learning, but I'm excited to be here.
Okay. Are there any other from Tooele? Do we have?
I think it's just me today.
Okay. What about the Uinta River? Are they on? Or Thomasia from Sevier? Right, let's see. Randy from Jordan?
I'm here.
Okay. You want to introduce yourself also?
Oh, sure. Sorry. I had another call come in that I just had to take real quick. I wear many hats. So I'm Randy White. I'm with the Jordan School District. I've been in this position since March of 2020, so just before we all got sent home. I do this, the Title VI program, and I also help run all donations that come into our district from our foundation. So I got a lot of really big things that I do that take up time at different times of the year. So.
Okay. All right. Well, that's our group, people. This is the small committee, and again, this is a time where we're going to put our ideas together. And what I hear is that we're going to use the same format, and what we're going to do is just go through the hour by hour, and with the names being filled in, we'll probably do that the next time that we meet. I really didn't want to take a lot of your time, and it's something that we can start to chip away at. I think today I'd like to have a little bit more focus a little bit more on our keynote, because I think our keynote will set the stage as to our audience and what we want to do. Let's start at the top again. We do have at 8:30. We do have activities going on. We do have continental breakfast, and we'll talk about that piece with the funding for the food. We have name tags and digital sign in, and sometimes in the years past we've had a lot of the Title VI coordinators. They had a pre-registration in their school districts, and they submitted those. They submitted the names, and we have that and put them on cards. And for the we also had walk-ins. So the students will put their names on, and there we'll grant them with little dots for their coloration into small groups. We do have the MC introduction. We had Mario from Granite in the past, traditional song. Lane Neiman, he was also a student here at LCC at Salt Lake Community College at one time, and I'm not so sure if he's still here or not. And we did have a blessing from Virgil Johnson. Now, Virgil Johnson was at the time a former chairman. He's also been an educator, a classroom teacher, a principal, and a coach in the area. And then we did have a small presentation from the Intermountain Healthcare. I think this was brought to you by the Urban Indian Center, and they were working closely with the healthcare. So we have that as a format, and I like to keep that a format. Now we can have these name change, or we could contact these people again and have those names put into their places. We have the breakout sessions also. And I believe in this case, we've had 3 rooms, the top level, and we also had 3 rooms at the bottom level, or 2 rooms at the bottom level. No, let me take it back. 3 rooms up on top, 3 rooms at the bottom, and we also used the Oak Room. And if you notice on the right-hand side there, 11th and 12th grade, we had room 221 and 223 because we had that partition. I don't know if that partition has been, if that's a wall now, or if that partition is still there. We can probably check on that. And but we're requesting 3 rooms, the top level, and 3 rooms at the bottom level, and we're gonna hopefully get the Oak Room as our whole gathering place. And again, we had names that were submitted, as well as those walk-ins. And we had a registration desk, and we had some assistance from, at that time, with Salt Lake City clubs. I think it was the American Indian Club, as well as the what was the other? I can't remember what they were called. Ambassadors. The ambassadors, they had the Multicultural Center to help us out with that registration. And we had tables out in front. And each one of these tables, they did have a representative from each school district. So when the school district came in, they had their names and, some of the nameplates and so on and so forth. But, we'll talk a little bit more about the logistics, probably not this meeting, but the next meeting that we have when we come together. I think the times also, we like the format, and I assume the format, the times go along with that. The format also goes along with the 9th and 10th grade pooled together, and also the 11th and 12th grade will pool together. And what we wanted to do here, beside the color on the left-hand side, do we like to keep the same, I guess the same breakout session names, such as STEM, other CTE options, the health and the wellness. And down at the bottom, we had the media, the Paying for College, and the CPR demonstration. See, these were breakout sessions that we offered for our students. And I think it would be a very, personally, I think it would be a great idea if we had Paying for College, that someone from the Salt Lake Community College would represent from their office to do a breakout session. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Yeah, so we'll keep that. We'll strike the names, but keep the LSCC with Paying for College, because again, we'll have the Salt Lake Community College to have their representative, such as registration, financial aid, admissions, those people, they can come together and kind of figure that out. So I'll leave that up to Orville and Phil on that. Now, maybe what I like to do here is that the next meeting, let's kind of formulate some of our ideas. I hate to have you put you guys on the spot and try to get a breakout session like STEM. We may have some else in mind. But see, these are some suggestions. And when we look at suggestions, I like to, our next meeting, we can start to nail those down, and possibly if you have a subject that you like to propose, possibly a name along with it. That would be a very, very good idea. And I think, I just like to plug in one name here. It's Mario Patero. In the last few years, he was very, very involved with his CTE programs, not only in the school district, but along with, statewide. And he does have a lot of suggestions, alternatives, some lead ways in terms of getting these students excited about that area. So we could probably keep CTE option there, and I like to keep Mario if that's possible. But see, that's what we have in terms of that. Hopefully, we could get some suggestions. But between now and the next meeting, if you could email me some of the suggestions that you may have. And what I'll do is that put this together and give you updates as to what the subject areas are proposed. I think that would be a good idea as far as getting our program put together very, very slowly. We also have evaluations that we gave out at that time, and we use these evaluations for the following year. The evaluations was there were about maybe 5 or 6 questions that we asked. Very, very simple questions. It was a yes or a no, and giving these students an alternative. And the reason why we gave these evaluation was that we wanted feedback, for one, and two is that what kind of program are we going to set for the following year? And that gave us a good foundation for the following year as to what the students would really like. Then we got into our sessions with our keynote. The keynote, again, if you have someone out there that you would like to have to come in and give a keynote, and the keynote would be someone that's would give a message to our students. In the past we've had like in this case Mo Smith from the Urban Indian Center, the executive director. We've also had the world-class skateboarder, and she did a very, very good job. We've had some of the local professionals in the healthcare area, and we've had someone from Salt Lake Community College, also one of the professors, as well as and today I believe that she's the president of the school here. So I just like to give that opportunity. You guys would have that. You guys would have that opportunity. Whoever you have in mind with that. And I have a few things in my mind also that I think would be a good idea, where we put all our thoughts together. And of course, we have the closing remarks, and then we have the bus pickup. Now, as far as that, how's that idea which I just proposed, that you guys would give me some ideas as I put this program together? I like this program to be put together by the committee, not from me, because I think you guys would like to see certain things for your students, and all the other stuff that I could do is, I could put things together, and I could give some suggestions, recommendations, and stuff. So I'd like to hear your thoughts. Any thoughts out there?
I think
All
it's
right,
a
Wendy.
great
Okay.
idea for everybody just to kind of email you some of the ideas that they have. And then, maybe next time we can take a look at it. I do want to mention that when we went to the governor's summit, and I don't remember the guy that was the keynote at the very end of the summit.
Yes.
I had a couple people mention they thought that he would be really good for, our high school students to see. So I don't know if he's the best option or not, but that's just one option that popped into my head right now. So,
Okay.
there might be better options, and we can look at that, but
Yeah.
that's all I have right now.
Isn't that person that was he did the rap and the regalia dancing, and was that him? That hip?
Yeah, I have his
Yeah.
information in the
Yeah.
little booklet, so I can email you that, but
Yeah.
I don't have it off the top of my head.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good idea, and I think that the focus here is that to excite these students. I think a few years back, we've had a keynote that it was a very, very good keynote, but it was geared more for adults than students, So just keep in mind that this conference is student focused, that we want to address some of the needs for the students and excite these students for their academic learning and so on and so forth. So that's a very good idea, Wendy. Anybody else would like to say anything?
I have a question, Dr. Foster, which
Sure.
I'm sure that you are shocked that I not only have a question, but that I'm willing to pose it publicly. But my sister runs a top-notch treatment center called Summit Counseling Solutions, and she does quite a bit of education in regards to levels of care and how you can go about navigating getting the mental health resources that you need in Utah. But she's not native. And I don't know if we want all of our presenters to be native or people of color. I can see where that would be a really big priority for all of the things that we do. But that is something I want to know about. If we're going to suggest people, do we want to make sure that they're people from native tribes, or do we want to branch out a bit, or what are our thoughts?
I don't know. What do you guys think, committee? I have my thoughts, so
Tell us your thoughts, and then I'll tell you mine.
okay. I think that there's certain areas of like healthcare. Healthcare, it doesn't discriminate. The disabilities that we have, or the healthcare that we focus in on things that are out there, it doesn't discriminate. People have diabetes, and there's a cure, not a cure, but you can control that. Some of those people, they do have mental health problems. They do have professionals for that. You have other disabilities, and you have professionals that would assist with that. Now, the people who assist may not be an American Indian, but they do have knowledge that this is probably one of the best solutions that we could give that individual. If you look at on the program there in the middle, just below the middle, the CPR demonstration, that was from the American Heart Association, and he was not an American Indian, but he had a lot of knowledge as to the demonstration that he put on was the CPR demonstration. And when these students walked away, they knew the technique, not so much as that person not being American Indian, but it was the technique that the students took away from this area. So I'm looking at more of from that area, but you know, I think that that's my thoughts.
I agree, Dr. Foster, but I also think that we should be careful in terms of how many people we have presenting who are white. I think it would be in very poor taste and inappropriate to have all white presenters, or even 75% white presenters to a Title VI conference.
Yeah, I agree. Anybody else?
My thought was just kind of along the same lines. You know, my kids being Native, and, you know, having to send them out to different doctors or whatever, you know, they have to see whoever's available, you know, or whoever they have access to. So I think it's fine to have somebody that, you know, as long as they're knowledgeable in the subject and they can approach the students and engage with the students, I think that's good. But if there's any way, you know, maybe we can include maybe 1 or 2 people, maybe one that's white and one that's maybe Native, if we're going to go that route, just maybe even to have that support, because there are some that maybe would just like to see that, just that we're not throwing that out there and saying this is the way you have to go. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know, somebody from the urban center could be there as well as somebody from another organization. Maybe they could kind of combine.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Lorne, you have your hand up.
I was just wondering, I have a friend that works for KRCL. I was just wondering if a way we can tie something with them. I don't know if they still have that morning radio with the Native American music.
Yeah, I really don't know.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I think the last time I heard it was like 10 years.
Yeah.
I remember Nino used to be on there, and he would talk on there and do the Native music.
Yeah.
During certain times. Yeah.
So you would kind of, a subject would be a media, right?
Yeah, that's what it would probably be towards too.
Yeah. See, if you look at the program that we had just below 11th and 12th grade, we had Sayer. You know, she did one on the media part, and at that time, you know, she did a really, really good job. So it was something that I think you know, we could certainly look at that. But again, if you have those names, you know, you just make a suggestion as to the topic and the names that would go with that. And what we'll do is put all this information together, and in the next meeting we'll kind of, you know, start to close in on what the agenda should look like.
All right.
Let's see. So we do have the subject areas, and you know, these are going to be our next assignments. Is that, you know, we get a subject area with the names. You know, if you do have names with that, the keynote is important, and we'll refresh this whole agenda up again, and we'll see what we can put together and stuff. Now, with Salt Lake Community College, you guys are willing to put something in there with a breakout session? Okay.
Yeah, we can definitely get something together.
Okay. So we do have Salt Lake Community College. You know, the heading might be Painful College. It could be something else they'd like to come up with, and they'll have their personnel come in and do their recruitment, do their laying out their program, and so on and so forth. I think that always really helps with all the options that we have. Let's see here. I think this is, and I think Salt Lake Community College with Orville and Phil you know, you guys can secure the rooms. Is that okay? All right. The nod was yes, they can secure the rooms. So we have that piece, and of course the Oak Room, and you know, with Penelope, I think she's on a, you know, she's has something that is going on today with, but you know, in the last few years, we put our our heads together in terms of the finances for the food. So, and it becomes really, really delicate from my office and so forth, and from her office also. That, but you know, we'll kind of work something out on that piece there. Now, as far as parking, you know, the logistics will be worked out with Salt Lake Community College and where the buses can park, because again, you know, some of the buses that were brought here last couple of years ago, you know, we had 2 or 3 big, large buses that came in. And then we have personnel, like for us, when we attend, you know, this, how that's all going to be worked out. And I think I'll leave that up to Orville and Phil on that parking piece. And I'll also work with the sessions as far as colors and how that logistics is going to be worked out. I think that for us, just like Clara says, that it really organized the day, and then we had, at that time, we had the ambassadors as well as the Indian Club that went out and escorted these students from place to place. And the rooms are not very, very far from each other. Some of these rooms were just next door. So these students didn't have very far to go. And of course, you know, we'll have a few students that like to wander, you know, so it's, you know, I think that for those students who wander, you know, I think that's a good opportunity to see what the college in this format, what it looks like, you know. I think in the past few years, we had some suggestions that we have a tour. One group would take a tour of the school, but again, that was kind of difficult because we had the school was in session, and you know, when we came up close to it, we you know, the group decided to let's just scratch that, because a lot of these kids will start to wander off. So, you know, if I was in high school, I'd probably be one of those people that wander off. So, all right. Is there any other things that you'd like to know about this before I let you guys go? You know, they gave us about 50 minutes here.
I have a question.
Sure.
About how many students does each district send, or kind of what's the idea on that?
You know, it's all up to you. A lot of these districts, they'll you know, you put the word out that the conference is going to be at this time at Salt Lake Community, and your logistics is getting that parent permission going with your parents. You get that, you have a bus load, you bring them here. You know, we've had Sevier School District, you know, they brought, in the past, they've had 1 bus load. We had Uinta River, they brought in a bus load. And some of the local areas, they brought a van. I think at that one year, we had the students from Windover. They were brought here in the van. So it all varies. That's going to be up to you, Randy. You know, how many students you'd like to have, and you know, for me, it's the more the merrier. You know, I think this will give good exposure that our students really need this. I feel, and usually we'll have this conference in September that kicks off the whole year. But because of the pandemic and you know that things like that going on, we decide to postpone that and then start in January. So it's hopefully we give them a good start for second semester, because, we're looking at a lot of student improvement this next year for all the school district. We've been dormant for almost a year and a half. Some of these students didn't have opportunities to go and visit, to hear speakers, to expose themselves to other students. I think this would be a time that they could do that. So, any other questions?
Hey, Chuck, what do you need to know from us as far as a date?
Okay, the dates. When we're going to have our next meeting, or when the conference is going to be?
Both.
Okay.
Mostly for the conference.
For the conference, probably the last week in January. Because again, when you guys come back second semester, I believe that's January the 3rd. Give them a few time or a few weeks to settle back in, and the third week, maybe the third or the fourth week in January. It's one of those 2 weeks there, from January the 17th, which is on the Monday, to January the 28th, which is on Friday. That's right there. That's 10 years, 10-day open that we could look at that. When is the best time during the week? We've had this conference on Wednesday in the past. Maybe we could really focus in on either January the 19th or January the 26th. Those are both Wednesday's dates. Okay. Now for our next meeting, possibly we could move that to the October the 20th. And again, at the same time, that this is on a Wednesday. There we could come together, and you give me some of your ideas, and don't sweat it if you don't have any ideas, because this is a group activity.
I do know Jordan School District is out for spring break that whole week of October 20th. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
no, that's fine. We just do do a full week, or fall break. Yes.
Fall break. Okay. Maybe the following week, the 27th, October 27th. Let's try the 27th at 10 o'clock, and I'll have Renee send out an invite, and we'll basically do the same thing. And then at that time, I'll have some of the things that I in my mind, the people I would think that could fit in these areas, especially this first part, the MC, the traditional song, the blessing, and if there's a special presentation. And oftentimes the Urban Indian Center, usually they'll give those presentations out. So maybe I could take that and run with that. But your assignment is that the subject areas. And if you have a subject area that you like to, entertain, and, we can throw that around in the name that might want to do that breakout session, let's bring that to the table. And the last is that, someone like with the keynote, I think Wendy, you brought out that person that was at the Governor Summit. Sci-Hop, I think, it's.
They worked with Sci-Hop, yeah. Well, no, I don't think he worked with Sci-Hop. I think it was different than that, but I'll send you the information when we're done with it.
See, that's another suggestion, and we could certainly get someone that's local, maybe, and that's going to be up to you guys. So, and of course, we have the room numbers, the room assignments, and we'll start to work from this end with Salt Lake. My work would be with the logistics, working with Salt Lake community as far as that.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, if there's none, just mark it down tentatively, and we'll have Renee send out an invite on October the 27th. That's on a Wednesday at 10 a.m. And other than that, I thank you for your time, and we'll see you at that time. And the rest of the day, have a good one. Hey, thanks for attending again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Foster, and everyone else.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.